that's kind of where all my finance knowledge just came from. What's going on YouTube? Taylor Prentice back here with another video, and this video is going to be for new investors, so if you're a little more experienced, this might not be the video for you. But anyways, if you're a beginner, hopefully these tips and tricks will help you build your wealth and just learn more about your finances. So let's just go ahead and get right on into it. So throughout this video, I'm going to be talking about 5 goals that I think people who are trying to get serious about their money in 2022 should be setting in place. And the first one would be creating an emergency fund. So a lot of people want to get just straight into an investing because it's more lucrative and obviously you want the returns right away, but that's actually not the smartest idea because you really need to build up an emergency fund first. You don't want to have all your money in stocks. Stocks go down 20% and then you need to make a payment for something, so you have to pull your money out when you're down 20%. And once you have an emergency fund built, you don't have to worry about saving as much as your income, and you're kind of able to invest more of that. So I think it's really important for everyone to go ahead and build an emergency fund. For everyone, it's different how much money they need, but the rule of thumb is usually like 6 months to a year of expenses. Like I said, it varies from person to person. Right now I live at home with my parents, so my emergency fund is actually pretty low, but by the time I move out, I definitely will allocate a lot more money to that because it's really important to have money in place in case something happens, because you never want to pull out of your investments because you never know what they could be doing at the time, because investments are usually long-term and in the short term might not have the best returns. So you don't want to have to pull your money out of something when it hasn't reached its potential or you're down on your position on whatever it is. So rule number 1, definitely just make an emergency fund. So the second goal I have for everybody is to save 20% of their income. So obviously this is easier said than done, but this will definitely help grow your emergency fund a lot quicker than if you weren't saving 20%. And it will also help you just learn to save, and it will help you develop better habits for the long term, because even if you have that emergency fund built up, you still want to be saving some money each month to be able to invest it. And that's kind of the beauty of just starting your finance journey, is you just start to build better habits, and you start to be more cautious of your spending, which kind of takes me into the third goal, which is kind of intertwined with the second goal, which is tracking your spending. So you're not going to be able to save 20% of your income if you're not doing the math and seeing how much you're spending each month and how much you're saving each month. So I think it's really important for people to either download apps like Mint or Mint.com. You could do it there too, but these apps just kind of track your transactions for the month. A lot of times I'm able to keep like a mental tab of that, but people might be better off writing it down. So if you're someone who's spending a lot of money, I definitely recommend using Mint.com or just some way to track your spending, because it's going to be pretty impossible to save 20% if you're, one, not even really paying attention to how much you're making each month, and then also it's going to be hard to know how much you're saving if you're not tracking how much you're spending. Pretty simple idea, but a lot of people don't go through that process of like really seeing what they're spending money on, because a lot of times you could be surprised at like the small things and how they add up, and just the stuff that aren't really necessities that you could definitely cut back on. Because in a lot of situations you really either need to realize, one, if you're not making enough money to save 20%, or if you're spending too much money to not save 20%. And for a lot of people, I feel like they spend way more than they should. You can definitely cut back on areas. But yeah, essentially what I'm getting at is tracking your savings is going to be really important, and saving that 20% each month is, like I said earlier, going to help you build out your emergency fund and help you save to invest for the future, whether you want to put it into stocks, into real estate, into a business, just whatever you want to do. You need to have money saved up to be able to take on that venture. And fourth on the list is going to be invest in yourself. So this can be free a lot of times. A lot of times you can just watch a bunch of YouTube videos. That's kind of where all my finance knowledge just came from, and just my knowledge of stocks and pretty much everything money related in general. I'm lucky to come from a family that's pretty financially literate, and my dad has always taught me the importance of money. So ever since a child I've been kind of interested, but really I didn't get so involved into my finances until like the last 3 or 4 years. And the majority of stuff that I've learned has come from YouTube, places or people rather like Graham Stephan and Financial Education Jeremy, Andre Jick, me, Kevin. So a lot of those guys have helped me develop my knowledge and my portfolio. So a big shout out to them. If you're someone who's in the process of trying to learn more about your personal finances or stock market stuff or real estate stuff, I highly recommend going and checking them out and their podcast Millennial Money. They've definitely helped me a lot and made things seem a lot more realistic. They do a really good job of breaking down stuff that just makes everything seem more feasible and just makes it seem more realistic, because in the beginning you see really wealthy people and you're just like, how could you ever get there? You see people like Grant Cardone who have like a bajillion real estate rentals, and it just doesn't seem realistic, and they're kind of like selling their dream. But you definitely can find people on YouTube who are genuine and will kind of show you their path that was a little more legitimate, and you kind of see like the grind and stuff that went into it, and it's kind of inspiring for other people to just be able to see what they've done. But yeah, once you've got skills, you'll be able to either like profit off of YouTube or make a business. Whatever you're gonna do, just make sure at some point you can turn it into something to make money. Like obviously I love music, so that's kind of the career path that I've chosen. So I've just been grinding to be able to monetize that because it's something that I love. Obviously I probably would not be trying to just make quick money from music, because that's not really something that you can do. Same thing with YouTube. It's kind of like a slow grind, but I'm doing these things because I'm passionate about it and because I like them. So I think that's definitely what you guys should do, is find something that you really, really enjoy, find a way that you can monetize it or that people are monetizing it, and try to learn from them. And if you need to like buy some books or whatever, like I know sometimes just having a book in hand is better for people to be able to learn. I'm addicted to YouTube videos. That's just my favorite way of learning, and I definitely think there's a lot of great info here on YouTube. So that's always an option, and that's free, so I highly recommend that. But obviously everyone has their own favorite way of learning, so to each his own on that. But yeah, I highly recommend just investing in yourself, whether it be like actually spending money to develop a craft or go like take a course or learn something, or whether it just be on YouTube or just Google, just doing your own research. So yeah, that's it for goal 4. And the last goal is going to be take action and stop having like analysis paralysis. So if you don't know what analysis paralysis is, pretty much it's someone who just overanalyzes everything and never really takes action on to what they're analyzing. So you have people that will look at the stock market and they'll be like, oh, well, I think stocks are at an all-time high, so I don't want to buy in right now. And then like a year later, stocks have gone up 20-30%. So you never want to wait around when it comes to your finances, because like the best time to start saving was yesterday, the best time to start investing was yesterday, stuff like that. Because one, you're just going to learn more things as you go along. Obviously, when you start out, nobody really knows anything, and it can be kind of like scary just getting into finances, especially if you don't have someone like teaching it to you. It's definitely weird if you don't have anybody that you can just ask questions to about stuff, but you'll figure it out, and you just got to get through the hiccups and get over that hump of being scared. Obviously, like I said earlier, building an emergency fund is really, really important. So if you do plan on investing, make sure it's not money that you think you'll need right away, because that's never a situation anybody should be in, is trying to invest money when they need money for like payments that they have coming up. You'll just get yourself into a worse situation a lot of times and end up making short-term decisions that end up bad a lot of times. So I definitely don't recommend doing that. But at the same time, sitting around and like trying to learn everything before you invest is just not ever going to do you any favors. It's kind of like you need to have real in-game scenarios, because you can't just be in practice forever. You're not going to learn that much. You start to care a lot more and you start to pay a lot more attention when you have money on the line, and when you see money go up or down, it like for me, it's exciting either way. Like if I see a lot of stuff go down, I'm just like, oh, okay, I have a buying opportunity. And then if stuff goes up, I'm like, okay, I'm a little wealthier today. So I try to always just have like a bullish outlook when it comes to my investments and just my businesses or like my career in general, because even though like things haven't really taken off and stuff, I feel like every like couple months I'm just hitting new goals, and just everything is going really smoothly. So I'm really optimistic for the future, and I think that's a big part of why I've had success, is because I figured out what I like and I've kind of doubled down on that stuff. So I think that's really what you guys should try and do is, one, build your emergency fund so you have the freedom to put your money into what you want to, whether it be a business. Like I know a lot of people will be like, oh dude, it would be so cool to start like a clothing business or like a food truck or something like that, but people never really save up the money to go and do that stuff. And if you don't do it, you never know how it could be. I'm one of those people that's kind of, no matter how cliche it sounds, I think everyone should chase their dreams, because like you really never know if it's gonna pan out. And I think if you keep working at something, it eventually will pan out. Just you don't know when, and you got to work smarter, not harder. A lot of people won't learn from their mistakes, and investing in personal finances is kind of all about learning from your personal mistakes and the mistakes of other people. So try to learn about what not to do. That's another big part of learning personal finance. I would actually recommend going and watching the Graham Stephan show. It's more of like a show, TV show kind of aspect to that channel, but he kind of just breaks down a lot of people's finances on that channel and shows what they could be doing better. And I've learned a lot from watching those episodes. It's really interesting to just hear his take on what people should do in certain situations, because everyone's finances are different. There's no one size fits all when it comes to finances. And the more financially literate you become over time, you'll be able to better analyze your situation and take action from there on. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys enjoyed this video or thought you gained something from it, if you could leave a like and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. And if you could leave some comments down below, like what are your financial goals for 2022? I've got some in mind. I might release a whole video on my 2022 goals for finances and just investing in general. But yeah, thank you guys again so much for watching. If you made it to this point, I really appreciate it. And best goals or best wishes to you guys for your financial goals in 2022. Have a good one. See you later.